Hello, today we are talking about the poem The Word is Too Much with Us. The Word is Too Much with Us is a sonnet by William Wordsworth. It published in 1807 and it is one of the central figures of English Romantic movement. The poem laments the withering connection between humankind and nature, blaming industrial society for replacing that connection with material pursuits. Wordsworth wrote the poem during the first industrial revolution, a period of technological and mechanical innovation spanning the mid 18th to early 19th centuries that thoroughly transformed British life. Now we come to the summary of the poem. The material world, that of the city, our jobs, our innumerable financial obligations, controls our lives to an unhealthy degree. We are always rushing from one thing to the next. We earn money one day just to spend it the next day. The result of this that we have destroyed a vital part of our humanity. We have lost the ability to connect with and find tranquility in nature. In exchange of material gain, we have given away our emotions and liveliness. This ocean that reflects the moonlight on its surface and the peaceful windless night, which is like flowers whose petals are folded up in the cold. These natural features still exist, but we just cannot appreciate them. Our lives have nothing to do with rhymes of the natural world. As a result, those rhymes have no emotional impact on us. Then we talk about the theme of the poem, which discusses about the main idea, that is nature, materialism and loss. In this poem, the speaker describes humankind's relationship with the natural world in terms of loss. That relationship once flourished, but now, due to impact of industrialization on everyday life, humankind has lost the ability to appreciate, celebrate, and be soothed by nature. To emphasize this central loss of the poem, describes its form three angels: economic, spiritual, and cultural. Notably, the poem does not suggest a way to regain what is lost. Rather, its tone is desperate, arguing that humankind's original relationship with nature can never be revived. The poem first presents loss in the economic sense, the implicitly blaming urban life for the change in people's relationship with nature, because the urban world has too much control over our lives. We are always late and soon or getting and spending. Modern humans are always losing time or money. As working people in an increasingly urban area, their lives are structured by never ending senses of appointments and transactions. This lifestyle comes at a price. It destroys our power to identity with nature or to appreciate the world around us. By focusing their powers on material objects, people grow unaware of their wider and arguably more important surroundings. The result is that nothing in nature or elsewhere is ours. This is world where everything, be it a house, stocks in a company, or a loaf of bread, it can be won or lost in an instant. The poem next dwells on spiritual loss, though without forgetting that loss, economic languages, people gives something away in exchange for something else. The price of material gain and industrial progress is human heart itself, a symbol of life and emotion. In exchange, what people gain is sordid, it is dirty and immoral. The speaker suggests that this loss of humanity outweighs the material gain. The result, we are out of tune, and nature moves us not. In the final lines, the poet describes a cultural loss, and its tone is resignation. Resignation suggests the loss is permanent. The speaker invokes Greek paganism, introducing a version of society in which nature played a longer role in human life. But the pagan tradition is a creed outward one, it is a relic and no longer useful. Once the speaker acknowledges the uselessness of past traditions, his or her wishes come across as more fanciful than serious. I would rather be a pagan, and so might I do not represent what the speaker believes is possible, but rather what he or she wishes were still possible. As a member of modern society, the speaker cannot access nature in a way to make him or herself less forlorn. This does not mean that nature has been destroyed. The pleasant Lee still exists. It just does not soothe the speaker at this moment of emotional despair. The best he or she can do is imagine a past that, in its fullest form, is lost and inaccessible. Now, there is a comparison, the individual versus society. The poem explored how modernity has eroded not just people's connection to nature, but also people's sense to individual identity and agency. The poem subtly suggests that modern city life has led to a sort of uniformity of experience, and that individuals are powerless and resist society's homogenizing effects. The poem's first 8 lines notably make use of collective pronoun we, as they reveals how as society grows the individual fades. Industrial society focused on material gain. What is more, the speaker insists that we have given our hearts away. With the switch to I in the second half, the speaker attempts to respond to those changes, and in doing so provides an example of a person living within that industrialized society. Yet this first person speaker offers no solution to problems presented in the first lines. This is the classic 14 line sonnet with an unusual rhyme scheme of A B B A A B B A C D C D C D and an iambic meter running throughout. Iambic beats give a da dum pattern with the stress on second syllable that and was the dominant meter of English poetry right up until free verse come into popular use. Overall, we can say that this is a remarkable poem and masterpiece by William Wordsworth. Thank you so much.